Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today, my team will present to you about Kaizen costing. First, let me tell you what is Kaizen. Kaizen is derived from Japanese term which is change for the better or continuous improvement. It refers to the process continuously improve the operation and the involvement of employees. According to Japanese logic, it brings in improvement internally within the workplace that includes the whole organization. Kaizen focus on eliminate waste and losses during production, remove non-value added, and create efficient and effective work environment. The Kaizen includes the quality control, just-in-time delivery, standardized work, use of efficient equipment, and also eliminate of waste.
Next, I'm going to present on the history of Kaizen. Kaizen started after World War II in the year 1950s, when Toyota first implemented quality circle system in its production process. This system includes the continuous improvement in quality, technology, productivity, safety, and leadership. This implementation was partly influenced by the American business and quality management teachers who visited Japan back then. Masaki Imai, who was born in 1930, was a Japanese organizational theorist and management consultant. He established the Kaizen Institute Consulting Group, KICG, in 1985 to help the Western companies in implementing Kaizen in their organization. The term Kaizen became famous through the work of Masaki Imai in 1986, which is Kaizen, the key to Japan's competitive success. He also published a book on the evolved form of Kaizen, which is Gemba Kaizen, a common sense, low-cost approach to management in 1997. Next, moving on to the objective of Kaizen costing. So, what is the reason of using Kaizen costing? It is to meet the objective, which is to eliminate waste and non-value added activities during the process of manufacturing. The waste is also known as muda, which is a Japanese word. It means every activity that consumes resources but do not create any value during the manufacturing process. There are 7 main types of waste in according to Kaizen costing. The first one is overproduction. This waste exists when some of the components are produced way ahead before they are needed in the next process. This will lead to the manufacturing process as they need to be stored, inspected, and transported. The second one is waiting. Waiting is usually related to the idle of resources. Anything that is on idle is considered waste, and this includes people, machine downtime, access changeover, and others. It will cost the firm additional dollars, time, and also overhead costs in their production process. One of the factors that cause waiting is a poor design process. The third waste is transportation. Moving inventory will incur costs and increase the risk of delay, damage, and also loss. It can also impact other overhead costs such as higher labor overhead, fuel costs, and energy costs. This waste is caused by poor plant design. The fourth one is overprocessing. This waste involves producing products way more than what customers want. For example, engineers producing products with high specifications than what customers are willing to pay. This issue may be related to management or admin issues, such as lack of communication, human error, duplication of data, and others. To eliminate this waste, the best tool that can be used is process mapping, which will define optimized workflow. The fifth waste is excess inventory. This waste occurs when more than minimum number of raw materials are stored for manufacturing process. This will result in the increase of the holding costs such as storage costs, labor, and also insurance. The best option to reduce this waste is to use just-in-time (JIT) in their inventory management. The next phase is movement. Unnecessary movement will result in non-value added time and increases cost. This irrelevant motion will cause damage in their production process. One of the common ways in movement is caused by poor workstation layout, such as employees taking a longer time to reach their workstation. The last phase is defective products. Defects will result in doubling the cost to repair the damage, or the products will be scrapped, but it will result in the waste of resources in the production process. It will affect time, money, resources, and customer satisfaction. This phase is mainly caused by poor quality control at the production level.
Kaizen will bring a lot of benefits to every level in the organization if it is implemented accordingly to its method. One of the benefits is waste reduction. As Kaizen requires the involvement of everyone in the organization, they can identify the areas that constitute waste in the production process. By implementing it, they can determine the root cause of the wastage and try to eliminate them. By doing so, waste is eradicated from manufacturing process and the cost will be reduced. Furthermore, resources are used more wisely and the business becomes more profitable since the cost is reduced. By implementing Kaizen costing, it will also improve the teamwork spirit in the organization. Kaizen is a quality improvement tool driven by teamwork. It does not only benefit the selected personnel, but it needs the involvement of everyone in the organization. As Kaizen requires employees to solve their problems together, they will develop a bond and build this team spirit. Thus, employees are able to work with a fresh perspective and unbiased mind without any prejudice. The teamwork will help to build cross-functional collaboration, and this cross-functional collaboration will enable the employees with different experience to learn from one another and solve their problem together. In Kaizen costing, it will encourage the workers to be more proactive. Kaizen will recognize and reward the effort of the employee. Thus, it will give them a sense of worthiness in the organization and makes them feel that they are part of it. This will encourage them to perform their duties effectively and efficiently. When employees are involved in the decision making, it gives them a sense of belonging and they will eager to implement the changes and will think of new ways to improve their process. Therefore, employees are highly motivated and their productivity will increase. The leadership skills can be built throughout the process. In every organization, it must have a team leader. The team leader is responsible to organizing their team and coordinating in any implementation during the production process, and they must ensure that everyone is performing their roles effectively and efficiently to achieve their goals. The team leader also will become a resource person for the staff when they need any assistance. In order to be qualified as a team leader, it is not a must that they must hold a high position in the management. This is because Kaizen will open opportunity for any employees to take on the leadership roles if they are qualified. From all of the advantage of Kaizen costing, Kaizen also have some limitation which brings a disadvantage to them. The first limitation is it is difficult to switch from the existing system to Kaizen costing system. By implementing Kaizen, it is equivalent to altering the current management system. As soon as Kaizen is implemented in the organization, it is very difficult to turn back to the previous one. Hence, Kaizen might be easier to be implemented in the business that does not have any management system yet. Next, the changes might be difficult to be accepted by the employees. This is because people are always reluctant to a change, and therefore, when the business want to implement Kaizen, they have to put up with certain resistance. Employees might not be ready to accept a different system from what they have been used before. On the other hand, management might be reluctant to implement Kaizen because they might incur additional costs. Therefore, it could be very difficult for some organizations to change their current approach to Kaizen costing approach. Kaizen costing also will require a training from the organization as they need to understand it better. This might require the altering of the usual process of work. Employees might need to take out their time from work to undergo the training in order to upgrade their skills. Thus, they may find it tedious and demanding. Furthermore, the time allotted for the training might not be sufficient for the employee to grasp the entire concept of Kaizen, as such employee may not be willing to implement the concept since they do not understand them. The enthusiasm in implementing Kaizen costing could fade easily. Employees might be excited at first to implement the new changes. However, their excitement could wear away when the changes become difficult to adapt. They may resort to the old practice and stick to it since they feel more comfortable with that practice. In addition, employees could be demoralized and unenthusiastic about the work. Hence, the time and resource spent to implement Kaizen are waste, and the purpose of implementing Kaizen is defeat.
There are 7 steps required in the process of Kaizen costing. Firstly is employees' involvement. Second is find the problems. Third is to think the solution. Fourth is implement the solutions. Fifth is to check the process. Next is to set as a new standard. Lastly is repeat the steps. We will proceed with the process of Kaizen. It contains 7 steps in applying the Kaizen costing. Firstly, it involves the employees. The cooperation between employees and management is very important. Thus, the company should encourage the involvement of the employees. Their feedback will help the company to be better as they generate ideas and information together. Okay, the second step is to find the problems. The involvement of employees not only help in solving problems, but also in finding the problems as they are the one who directly involved in the respective department. They can apply the technique like 360 feedback and the shortlisted application. The third step is think solutions. Brainstorming and discussion are needed in this step as to generate the ideas and solutions. Thus, the manager needs to form a special team that includes experienced and skillful employees. The fourth step is to implement the solution. The implementation of solution that has been chosen in the previous step is to ensure that the effectiveness of the Kaizen. It will be the best and safer to run a pilot test as it will not incur a higher cost toward the management. They need to focus on the weaknesses and changes happen during the implementation. Step is checking the process. A proper check and evaluation is important. Thus, it must be conducted by a responsible person. He must determine the level of the effectiveness and ensure the progress is working smoothly and practically applied to the process. He also must report the progress to the manager. Okay, the sixth step is to set a standard. It should be set as a standard when the implementation shows a positive result. The new standard then is applied to the whole organization to ensure it runs smoothly and efficiently. It also to minimize the government intervention during making the important decision. Lastly is to repeat the process. The team need to repeat from the start to solve the other problem that have been found during the finding problems. The other type of process is called PDCA. PDCA is also well known to be used as process of Kaizen costing. It stands for plan, do, check, and act. It also known as reward cycle. The first step is to plan. These steps require everyone to think and plan the improvements which are needed. Thus, this is where the objectives are identified and the processes needed are planned. Firstly, the teams need to identify the roots of problems. One way to identify is to directly meet and ask the representative or respective department regarding the problem faced by them. Then the team need to set a goals for the improvement to be done. Lastly, the involvement of all employees are needed to prepare a detailed action. Okay, moving on to the next step is to do. The organization or special team should implement the changes in the organization, and it is very important to ensure that all available data and results can be checked up and reviewed in the next step. The organization can use any data collections like basic quality tools for presentation and data collections. Then develop solution by contributing some ideas and suggestions using technique like brainstorming. Okay. Next step is to check. After the team has implemented the changes and solution, they should check whether the compatibility and the implementation of change with existing processes in the previous step is showing any result or changes. It can be evaluate the outcomes and initiate the improvement to ensure the effectiveness of actual results. Moving on to the last step, which is to act. The last action to be taken by the team is to act on the findings again and repeat the whole cycle. They need to keep identify the processes and elements that needed to be improved. If it is successful, it will be set as a new standard to be applied to the whole organization.
Next, I'm going to present the types of Kaizen costing, which are asset-oriented and also product-oriented. Firstly, asset-oriented plans only the activities that are required by the company or the project. Any improvements made are related to reducing the usage of assets or resources. For example, the purchase of a new forklift that can optimize 2 or more production stations can remove waste activities for the overall process. The next type is product-oriented. The activities for the costing are carried out in special projects that focus on value analysis. What is value analysis? Value analysis is a structured method to improve the value of goods, products, and services through the analysis of the usage. The improvement under product-oriented costing is related to the different types of resources for each product. Next, I will give some examples of the types of costs that can be eliminated when Kaizen is implemented. They are the cost of product redesign, legal costs, recruitment and training costs by choosing a more effective methods of training, manufacturing costs, that is by using a learning curve effect, marketing, sales, distribution, and lastly, the cost of disposal. Let us move on to the examples of companies that implement Kaizen costing in their organizations. The first company is Toyota. It is one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world that was founded by Kiichiro Toyoda in 1937. Toyota is the first company to implement Kaizen costing in 1985. How did Toyota implement Kaizen costing? Toyota used a Toyota production system, which is TPS, that identify and eliminate the modal waste in the production process. The technique also involved of the employees in achieving the company's goals and objectives. TPS allows the employees to contribute their skills and knowledge in the production, and the employees are also rewarded for any improvement that they contribute during the process. The next company that implements Kaizen costing is the well-known Nestle. Nestle is the largest food company that is originated from Switzerland that was formed in 1905. They have a variety of products that includes dairy products, frozen products, ice cream, confectionery, and also snacks. Nestle used value stream mapping (VSM) to illustrate the flow of materials and information needed to deliver the goods to the consumer in order to be more efficient. Nestle worked to make continuous improvement to reduce waste and lower the time and materials that can be wasted during the process. Besides, the training provided by Nestle also helped the employees to identify the areas in the production that needs improvement in order to reduce waste. And lastly, I will present on the recommendations on how Kaizen can be implemented by more companies in their organizations. Firstly, there is a need to promote awareness on the benefits of Kaizen costing. Kaizen Institute, for instance, should promote the system widely to help the businesses, especially the small medium-sized enterprise (SME). They can learn on how to obtain high profit while minimizing the cost of manufacturing their products by reducing waste. Kaizen Institute can be found in more than 60 countries in the world, including Malaysia. The next recommendation is Kaizen Institute should provide a standardized module that can be used by any industry. This is to ensure that all industries can refer to the module in order to implement Kaizen. By having a standardized module, it will be easier for companies to implement Kaizen, as the module has been adjusted according to the skills and technologies in Malaysia. The last recommendation is to reward the organization for succeeding in changing their old system to Kaizen costing. Besides, the organization can also reward their employees who brought significant values to the business, so they will feel the sense of belonging. Thus, they will be more active in giving ideas to improve the business. Just like how Toyota rewarded its employees for any improvement contributed in the production process. And that is all from our group. Thank you.